All right, welcome to another episode of Seeds of Music. I'm your host, Kyle Williams, and this is the #1 web show where aspiring independent artists, producers, bands, and musicians can learn right now how to find their market, gain exposure, and effectively grow their fan base. In this episode, I have Geoffro Cause on the show. He is a local artist, musician, producer in the LA area, and very, very talented guy. Not only on different instruments, but on his ability to produce his tracks as well. And we're going to be talking about a lot of the tips and tricks that he uses to help him write songs, or to work, tips for working in the production process, what he does for networking, and all these things that have helped him out on furthering his career, particularly in the Los Angeles area. However, this applies to these universal concepts are going to apply no matter whether you live in Los Angeles or New York or a very, very small town. So stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Seeds of Music. On this episode, we have with us a very talented, multifaceted musician and producer, Geoffro Cause. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Awesome, man. First thing I wanted to ask you is, you have like such a diverse array of skills, from production to performance, and you're mixing a lot of different genres. How did you get started down this path of just spreading out? How did that come to fruition?
Word. Yeah, I actually started on piano at a young age. I was 5, and I think over time I just everything I saw musically, I just wanted to try it, or I just wanted to do it. I ended up picking up different instruments, from the saxophone to the guitar. I was always a hip-hop fan, so even in like 3rd grade, I was like memorizing rap verses and whatnot. And then I started singing like when I was a teenager. So I don't know, over time, like just all the music I picked up from childhood, anything from jazz or classical to rock and hip-hop, whatever my older brother and my friends were turning me on to, I just loved everything. So I don't know, it definitely rubbed off on me and kind of led me to where I'm at now.
Is piano your main instrument?
It's one of the main instruments, yeah. Okay. I would say on the day-to-day when I'm like in the studio and whatnot, I'm playing piano, guitar, bass, vocals, and then I've even had situations where somebody was like, hey, we need mandolin. And I'm like, I don't play mandolin, but I was able to fake it because it's close enough to guitar or whatever. But yeah, I'm just one of those guys. I just like it all. So
has that ever presented unique challenges, like liking everything? Like, do you ever get confused about what to do, or overwhelmed with the choices?
I mean, I think the main challenge is like really just when you're networking. Sometimes you got to just like limit it. When I was a lot younger, I would be like, yeah, do this and that and blah blah blah. And
oh yeah.
Yeah, I think people were just like, yo, this kid's like exaggerating. But no, creatively, it's like it's amazing because I feel like I'm never. If I hit a roadblock, I'm never like stuck. I can just be like, oh, let me try this instead. It offers many different ways for me to just, seek different outlets creatively, so it's cool.
Have you ever, has there ever been one instance where you're working with someone else and their skill set might have been a little bit, more specific to just a couple of instruments? Does it help a lot in collaboration?
Oh yeah, sure. Like most of the people I work with these days might play a couple, chords on the piano or whatever. But I'm pretty deep in the hip hop world, so a lot of the dudes I'm working with don't even play instruments, So I just when I collaborate with those producers, I'll usually fall back and take on the musician role if that helps things move smoothly, But I collaborate almost daily, and then when it comes to working by myself, it's I just have everything around me at all times that I need, which is great. But Yeah, I got to say that I have worked with other musicians and whatnot, and like the old school way of recording, which is always exciting. But it doesn't really happen too often these days. You know, it's
Hmm.
more computer based, but it's good. It's all good. What you can do on the computer, you know, it's incredible. If you don't play an instrument, you can do a lot actually these days. But I'm still trying to keep that old school
Yeah,
style
yeah.
going.
What
Yeah.
what would advice would you have for maybe a producer who doesn't play an instrument and needs to work a lot in the computer? What are some like key concepts that they would need to grasp?
Oh, I mean, like it doesn't hurt to just, learn a little bit of theory, or just if somebody's trying to just up their game as far as like yeah, getting more musicality in their production or whatever. Yeah, just hang out with musicians and learn with them, or just work with them, hire them, whatever. Because it doesn't happen overnight, but just like when I collaborate with people and I'm teaching them things about whatever theory or music, or whatever little tricks to do on the keyboard to make their songwriting go faster. They're teaching me production skills, like so it's great. I feel like it's amazing to work with people that don't do what you do, or have something useful that you can pick up on.
Okay, so it's kind
Hmm.
of like getting out there and meeting other musicians and working with them helps like fill the gaps in your knowledge base in a much faster way than if you were just by yourself all the time, just experimenting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's always YouTube. You can do that, but I don't know. If you find somebody cool, I always say to people, I'm like, just meet people for the sake of being friends, and then like, if you have somebody who's chill, they're obviously going to want to hang out and
Okay.
work with you. You know.
How does what's do you have like a so is that your main strategy, just like meeting people who are easy to get along with but also talented with like a certain skill set that you'd be interested in learning? I mean,
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, I don't even handle all that. I have a manager who hooks it up. He just like puts me in the room with anybody he sees that we can make some type of hit. you know.
hmm.
So, like last week, for instance, it was actually a really cool opportunity. I was invited to go to Trey Songz's place, and he's working on a beat of mine. He's laying down some vocals on it, and so they just had me come over, and they're like, "Yeah, can you add some more bass to your beat?" Blah blah blah. And then it was just supposed to be a simple meeting like that, but it turned into like, "Hey, we also wrote another song." Just these two singers, including Trey, and they're just like, "Yeah, oh, you play guitar." They were just meeting me for the first time.
Oh yeah,
It was all
finding
set
out
up.
about you. Yeah.
It was all set up, so they had a little idea of what I do, but it was a great opportunity. Because then the next thing you know, I'm like, "Oh, I do have my guitar." Boom, and we start writing a song like instantly. So it was cool.
How exactly did that opportunity get set up for you? I mean, what were the steps that led up to it?
Well, in the fastest way of explaining that, about 2 years ago, I ended up getting a publishing deal under Mike Karen, who runs APG, which is the publishing group. It's part of Atlantic Records, um, and yeah, through Mike, I've had a lot of amazing opportunities the last 2 years, just working with people all over the globe.
Hmm.
A lot of Swedish producers lately have been coming to LA, and I was working with them for a day or two, and we'll literally just come up with a million ideas. I mean, everybody works differently, but a lot of the strategy is like when they have me in the room, again being the musician and they're handling more of the production. A lot of the time, we'll just they'll be like, "Hey, play us,"
Yeah. Yeah.
countless ideas, and then we'll go home later and we'll just we'll work on them, we'll tweak them, you know.
What's your mindset that you have when you approach all of this that's going on?
My mindset, I mean, honestly, like inside, I'm always just trying to take over the world. But I'm actually a pretty easygoing dude, so I just show up and I just chill. You know what I mean? Like I don't even see it as work. I just see it as like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Usually in these sessions, I feel a lot of people, we're all sort of on this unspoken agreement where it's hard. It's hard as hell already to do anything in music and like, succeed and live comfortably. So we all just sort of have this this attitude where we're just chilling. You know, we show up. Sometimes we're just eating. We're just bullshitting. Nobody knows each other. You know, and after like a half hour, it's like, oh, let's go make some music. You know, so I think the important thing is setting the vibe in the beginning. You know, just because nobody wants to work out with people who are stressed out.
Oh yeah, because you already have so many stresses to deal with as it is outside of the production. Right?
Why make it harder?
Yeah. So you mentioned, you know, like inside your mind, you're trying to conquer the world. Is it really like this outward thing where you're looking out to the world to conquer, or is it more this idea of just conquering yourself? You know, conquering what's inside, like the fears and things like that.
Right. I mean, it's just a general attitude of like, I expect to leave that session that day feeling like we did something really good. You know what I mean? If I don't want to say I get frustrated, but I'm always expecting every day something positive to it, and that attitude is like, man, I won't settle for less. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I need to take this over. You know.
And have you seen like real world results to having that type of attitude? Like, has there ever been something that happened that just seems so serendipitous or out there that you could only like say, hey man, you know, that has something to do with the attitude I carry every day?
I mean, I don't know. It's just part of the overall attitude of hustling. You know, just wanting to get out there. But I like the fact that you said serendipitous, because I find that a lot of the best ideas that I've come up with are serendipitous. You know, like total accidental. Like, and then you come back to it 5 minutes later, you're like, holy shit, that was incredible. You know, those are the best, because it's sort of like you had good intentions of creating something amazing, and it just sort of happened in a different way that you were expecting. You know, that's always beautiful.
And what do you do to hustle?
Okay, so I mean, these days I'm a little more relaxed as far as the business, because I have, you know, a great team that's handling that. But I've been out here in LA for about 6 years, so you know, like 2 or 3 years ago, like I was doing everything from like just searching various websites 3 times a day, looking for gigs, performance or studio opportunities, to like acting. I had an acting agent because I love entertaining, being on camera and all that. So I think a lot of it was like, you know, just being my own manager for the longest time, and gigs and promoting and then making music videos and getting that out there. Luckily, I don't have to like stress so much about all those extra details these days.
Well, you've worked to it. You've worked up to that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, but so now it's like, okay, how else can I be, you know, one step above the competition? Is, you know, the new mindset I'm always asking myself.
Okay. Well, can you paint us a picture of what year one was like? Of you know, being here, not year one of your life, but you know.
Can you repeat that?
Like, can you paint a picture of what your first year in LA was like?
Oh, my first.
You said you've been here for 6 years.
Oh,
so
year one. I get you.
Can you map out what was that first year like? I mean, what did you do?
Year one was trippy. It was. I mean, it was actually really good. It kind of started off like within the first month, it was getting these amazing opportunities. I had like auditions for various touring opportunities. From like, you know, pop groups like Kesha, Pink, Matchbox 20's producers were putting together like some all-star band. You know, I was getting all kinds of opportunities like that. I wasn't landing any of those gigs, which in retrospect I'm really happy, because I didn't really want to tour for other people. I was like, I want to tour for my music.
Yeah.
But I was getting out there and doing them anyway. Also, let's see, like that first month, you know, I was able to get a gig that like it was very short-lived. It was like I was playing jazz piano at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. Okay. It was just I've had a lot of experience doing that in other cities, you know. Yeah. It's always fun, you know, but you know, again, not what I want to do, but hey, music's music, and I was fortunate to have opportunities like that to pay the bills, you know. Trying to think what else. I mean, I was doing all kinds of weird shit. Like one of my weird gigs was like just being shirtless, being like a model for this guy that was like sculpting a guy playing a guitar. So like I had to hold a guitar without the guitar strap, because he wanted it a certain angle, and it was very tiring. You know what I mean? You're
Oh
holding it
yeah,
awkwardly, but hey, it paid well, so
yeah. Hey, you get paid well, like modeling for universities, like their drawing classes. Because I remember I had in college I had a few drawing classes, and I remember just thinking, oh man, I never want to do that because you like cold, like well they were completely naked, but that pays well, so that could be
Right,
that could always be an option.
right.
Yeah. So what else? What else happened besides that?
Let's see, what else that first year? I was actually documenting a lot of these things because I was like, man, I should write a book one day. Trying to think what else. Oh yeah, like maybe not the first year, but leading up to a lot of those auditions, I was doing a lot of networking through these auditions, just meeting other
Okay.
musicians, and then through that getting other opportunities. I found myself serendipitously entering the comedy world, which was kind of fun in a different way. There was like an old school legend comedian named Barry Sobel who ended up just finding me through my agent that was booking me these auditions, and he was looking for a guy that sort of DJs and plays different music and can be good on stage to help support his comedy act. So I ended up doing that for a while, and that was actually fun because Barry's, he's got a name from back in the '80s, but people still know who he is. So we played some interesting shows, and he also was able to hook me up with like little opening slot where I was able to play my original music for a bigger audience. So that was amazing. But yeah, I never thought I would be involved in the comedy world like that. But also being LA as it is, I also had a neighbor who's also blowing up in the comedy world right now who lived above me, and yeah, I find myself to be friends with all these famous comedians these days, and I don't even know how that happened.
What's your really quick opinion of LA's music scene? Maybe if you could put it in one sentence to just like fully describe it.
As in like their live music scene. I mean, to be honest, like I've been so busy in the studio that I'm hardly performing these days, so I'm not seeing too many shows. Also, but I will say that I really enjoy the New York music scene over the LA music scene. I feel like it's just easier to play to people that want to see live music. Out here in LA, it's a little more challenging. First of all, I feel like half the people I'm promoting to are doing the same thing I'm doing anyway. So
Yeah.
you kind of come across this whole like, hey, why don't you take a break from your rehearsal to see me play? You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
kind of challenging. And the driving, the parking, and how spread out everybody is, it just it always made it challenging. But I got to say that I've seen incredible music out here, various genres. But again, I will say that I love playing the East Coast, especially New York. Just something about it doesn't matter if I only brought 10 people because I don't live out there and nobody knows me. This room is packed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I show up and people are ready to hear good music. They
Yeah.
respect the venue, so they know that the venue is going to bring in, some good cats.
As far as your like songs, like what do you have any songwriting tips? I mean, that you've like collected over the years?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, like most of my inspiration comes from when I'm in the car. Like when I'm driving, I come up with these incredible ideas. I don't know if they're incredible later, but at the moment they seem, really good. So I voice record all the time, which can be a pain because then you got to go back to your phone. You're like, oh, the hell, that's not even good. You got to
That's
sit
more
through.
convenient than having the portable
Yeah,
tape recorder or something, something on the side you got on your phone at least.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a great tool to have the voice recorder, handy just at all times, because you never know when. I don't want to say mistaken, inspiration comes, but unexpected, I guess, is the best word. And then as far as like tips, it's good to like find a formula. Like if it worked one time, try it again, and just like try and do the same, like I would say try and do the same song idea over and over again, because you might be like, that was cool, and then here's number two. Oh, number two is even better, and number three is even better, because now it's like I have this formula. Attempt is like even better than the first two songs that I wrote. I don't know, but then at the same time, if you find something that works, don't be afraid to try new things. Because I used to be a little rigid when it came to that. Like, you know, like I never wanted to take songwriting classes. I never wanted to like really have somebody telling me how to write a song. You know, I felt like it should be organic, and you should just be feeling it or not feeling it. You know, those are the two options. But these days, since I'm collaborating with people all the time, and I've worked with some incredible songwriters that like, you know, when they're writing for other people, especially, it blows my mind at how fast they come up with these lyrical concepts. Within like 5 minutes, they might have a hook, and it's like, oh man, I'm good at doing that for myself. When it comes to writing for other people, it can be a little challenging, you know. But yeah, you know, it's definitely good to come up with concepts. You know, any random time, just like, oh, you know, you see something, you can turn like an everyday situation into a song idea, I guess. You know.
Awesome, man. So Geoffro, you know, what have you found that works for you as a producer, and as far as like getting your ideas out there in the most effective way?
Let's see. For me personally, again, I like to if I have a good idea, or you know, if I think of something that I'm like, that could really be amazing. Whether it's a riff that you could just put on a beat, or just some type of musical idea that stands out in some way. I like to just try and come up with multiple ideas of the same riff or whatever, you know, like come up with variety, because oftentimes I find myself coming back to things I did a day later and then having a different opinion on it, you know. Or I like to do the morning test, as I call it, like where you wake up and you listen to what you've been working on all night, because you're a different person at that point, you know, like you might be feeling it all night, and then you come back and you're like,
or even like the week test or the 2 week test.
Sure, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, I can definitely see how that would work, just having, I mean, just on anything, like anything you create, just coming back with in a different state of mind, because then you're seeing it from a different perspective, and I think it maybe helps you see it without as much, like you can see it with more of a critical eye without so much emotional attachment, you know, to the song in the moment, so you can't like see ways to improve it. That's really helpful. This last question, I was wanting to ask everyone. It's kind of a little fun question to ask. So maybe it'll I'm guessing it won't stump you like it's stumped everyone else. But what is your favorite album, and what would your life be like if it never existed?
Oh wow, that is a hard one. But I do have options, so I guess I'll pick. I guess I should say "Dark Side of the Moon" by Pink Floyd, because it's my favorite, or it's a favorite because especially at the time that it was made, it's just so incredible how they seamlessly put every track, you know, leading into the next one. You know, you can do that a lot easier with today's technology, but that's what makes it so impressive, is like the production back in '73 when they were earlier when they were doing that. It's incredible, and I feel like that's it's just a collection of these amazing songs, whether or not you choose to like it in a sober mind or you know, like I the first time I heard it, I was a kid, you know, and I was just like, it was amazing to me. And I don't know, I feel like things would be a lot different, because when I really started to write songs in high school or middle school, a lot of that was like really based on these ideas that I heard from Pink Floyd. So I bet it would drastically have changed my style would be completely different had that album not existed. I don't know what would have taken place as my favorite album. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
It's hard to even imagine that. But things would be different for sure.
yeah, that's an impactful album. Probably, if the album didn't exist, it probably would destroy many people's lives.
Yeah. I mean, it's been in like what, the top, not 100 or something, like top something for like how many years? Like it fell out like 5 or 6 years ago, and then it came back. Like it still sells. You know, it's incredible.
It's timeless.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Geoffro Cause, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I'll check you later.
And that wraps up another episode of Seeds of Music. Just make sure to check out Geoffro Cause's links below. If you took something away from the interview, you feel like his unique perspective is helping you out, then, be sure to check out his music. Give a little shout out. Also, if you haven't signed up for the email newsletter, the official Seeds of Music email newsletter, it's free. There are forms all over the site. If you're watching this from YouTube, it's not enough to be on the YouTube channel subscription. I don't communicate through YouTube messages. There's no newsletter that goes out. So to really stay in touch and stay up to date with Seeds of Music and the new interviews, just make sure to head over to the site and sign up to the email newsletter there. Also, if you gain something of value from this video, make sure to like and share it. Like it on your Facebook, share it on Twitter. It doesn't matter. If you felt like you got something of value out of it, then spread the love, spread the interview, spread the Seeds of Music. And lastly, comment on the video. What was your greatest takeaway from this interview, and how will you apply what you've learned? Also, who would you like to see interviewed? Is there someone that you know of that you'd love to see on Seeds of Music? Just give me a shout. You can send an email to kyle.seedsofmusic@gmail.com. I answer every email. That's my obsession, because I'm really trying to make a difference and help you guys out here. So I just need you to communicate with me and let me know what you want to hear. So until next time.